Please forgive me. The free stack of Shatterdive Hunters, you made me do this. This build will get you more hate in the game than you've ever seen before, but even though the cheese factor is extremely high, it's also extremely effective. You'll get bagged lots and lots, but just remember your EP is bigger, so at the end of the day, that's all that really matters. You can use this setup anywhere in the game to be honest, so stick around for all the details including the actual real life science behind it. I came across this build in Trials of Osiris and well, let's just say we got our pushed right in by the other player running this on the opposite side. Lorentz Driver isn't the problem. I've recently come back to this new exotic after picking it up at the start of the season, mainly to finish the catalyst, but now here we are maining this science rifle. A quick refresh for everyone on the perks though. Lagragian Sight is the main perk whereby it marks targets with a red hue. In PvE you will also get wall hacks and defeating these targets drops a telemetry pattern. Collect 3 of these patterns and you'll get a 50% damage bonus for 30 seconds. Picking up further telemetry during this time will instantly refresh the timer of the buff, effectively giving you an unlimited buff as long as there's ammo and enemies to shoot at. This will one hit body shot in PvP, and although it's not exactly what we're aiming for, it's a nice cherry on top if you manage to get it going just like Cool Guy does. The EM Anomaly perk creates an implosion on precision final blows, giving the big suck to anyone crazy enough to be nearby, dealing additional damage. The Catalyst also grants the Jump Driver perk, which not only gives you an enhanced radar, but will also create the Anomaly implosion on any final blow when you have the Lagragian Sight buff active. Now we're using this exotic linear fusion rifle with the Warlock Stormcaller and more specifically the Attunement of Elements subclass. The Landfall Stormtrance Super got a huge buff this season, but we're mainly using it for the fast rift recharge offered by Electrostatic Surge, which in turn will grant us the Arc Soul Arc Buddy rift ability. But we're not actually using the Arc Soul as such, because we're going to be supercharging the Arc Buddy with the Getaway Artist.
Now that's a name I've not heard in a long time. A long time.
I haven't used these since the start of Season of the Worthy to be honest, but the Dynamic Duo exotic perk allows you to convert your Arc Grenade into a supercharged Arc Soul by holding the grenade button to consume the charge. This grants you the Sentient Arc Soul perk and lasts for 20 seconds. The beauty here though is that it synergizes perfectly with the Bottom Tree Stormcaller, because if you cast your rift at any point, it'll instantly refresh the Getaway Artist perk to the full 20 seconds. This will stay on for the full duration of the rift whilst you're in it, and so if you're taking advantage of both a high recovery stat build and Electrostatic Surge, you could effectively keep chaining it. Unfortunately though, it doesn't work the other way around. If you've used the Arc Soul ability first and then convert your grenade whilst it's active, you'll just get a normal Arc Soul again and not the supercharged, faster firing, more aggressive version. Now if you're enjoying this build video so far, please give it a like rating below. It really does help me out and is always greatly appreciated. Thank you very much. To make the most out of this setup and to have an Arc Soul running at all times, you really want to have a high recovery and disciplined stat distribution. Arguably this should be your standard aim for any Warlock armour to be honest, given how potent these abilities are across all Warlock subclasses. But here it'll allow you minimal downtime and back-to-back ability spam. Use any recovery or discipline mods as required though, with any stat above 70 being ideal. Lorentz Driver and even its just as cheesy brother Arbalist have pretty insane aim assist and hitbox sizes in the game, but we're going to make it even easier to land that precision shot by using the linear fusion rifle targeting mod from the seasonal artifact. This will make it so you don't even have to aim on target and still get that easy headshot, giving you improved target acquisition, accuracy and aim down sight speed, all for the minimal cost of 1 energy. A truly broken mod with this exotic. Linear fusion dexterity will provide faster ready and store speeds too, further increasing its handling, and you should also use the unflinching linear fusion mod as well. Fusion Rifle Scavenger will improve your ammo economy, allowing you to keep the cheese going. As for other mods, a charge with light setup using taking charge and high energy fire will provide a further buff that does stack with Lagragian Sight, meaning you can take out guardians in their supers easier and even deal with higher health enemies in PvE. Double bomber mods are last up, as this will grant you bonus grenade energy when casting your rift and ultimately lowering the downtime of your Sentient Arc Soul exotic ability. Ideally, you'll want to pair this setup with a fast firing SMG or a rifle or hand cannon, which effectively allow you to clean up in the mid range. I've been using Survivor's Epitaph, as I've found its precision nature really effective at trying to get that final blow on somebody who has been bodied by your Lorentz and tickled by your Arc Soul. A well rolled multi-mac SMG or even Chroma Rush could work here though too. Alternatively, if you choose to run Arbalist in the kinetic slot, then Shayura's Wrath is as good as anything in the game to pair with it in the energy slot, and this is a great combo to use if you prefer to use the kinetic linear fusion rifle over Lorentz. Standing in rifts and team shooting this season has kind of become a thing, especially with the rising prominence of the Stag, but this build allows you to change the usage of your rift to a more drop and go playstyle. Ideally, you'll want to consume your arc grenade first off and then move around to challenge your opponents. Keeping an eye on your timer, you can then drop a rift in cover to refresh your Sentient Arc Soul and therefore always keep it active. You can then move and play around the area your rift is in, occasionally running back through it to refresh your Arc Soul ability. This negates and saves you from getting Shatterdive by being too stationary in the rift as well, and it allows your team to dip into the rift to grab an Arc Soul too. You might see some opponents chuck on Risk Runner to counter your Arc Souls, but by using Lorentz Driver you're not only out of range, but you'll be bypassing the arc resistance as it's a void weapon, making it somewhat an anti-counter in the same way. We're also in the middle of a pulse rifle meta emerging too this season, and so the passive aggressive nature of the Sentient Arc Soul will allow you to get the drop on opponents trying to lane you with their pulse rifle. Now, as an added bonus here, I wanted to point out a particular insightful article on space.com written about and covering the actual real life science behind the Lorentz Driver exotic in Destiny 2. I'm not going to go fully in depth and butcher the article here, but the Lorentz Force is the scientific term covering the interaction between charged particles and magnetic fields towards a guiding centre. This effectively governs not only how the weapon's projectile is propelled by applying a charge to a beam of energy, but also the anomaly burst of the weapon's precision final blow attracting other objects towards it. It's a really interesting and fascinating read, to be honest, so if you want to read more in depth to this and how far the dev team at Destiny do go when researching and applying real world science to the Destiny universe, I'll leave a link down below in the description. Lorentz Driver might even be the most hated exotic in Destiny 2 right now. I mean, Chaperone exists, as does Jotun, and there's also Duality, Telesto, Fawn, The Last Word. The list is truly endless at this point. But the sandbox is there to have fun with, and this combo is as unlikely as they get, to be honest. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe here if you're new, and also share it with your friends. I've been Truds, this has been your cheesy Lorentz Driver build. Thank you very much for watching, and I hope to see you next time.